work for them.
Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. Today we're counting down the top 10 alternate versions of Link. While there are a ton of alternate versions of the character out there, we'll be doing a mix of alternates from the ever-changing aesthetic of Link that he's evolved into over the years. From an appearance perspective, for being one of the most iconic characters in video game history, Link sure has changed a lot since his first appearance in 1987's Legend of Zelda. There are so many reincarnations of the character. So that being said, let's jump in. And number 10 is the side-scroller Link. From Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, the sequel to the first Legend of Zelda game, gave us a different take on Link, a very different one, and the soon-to-be franchise's gameplay as well, becoming more of a side-scrolling platform-esque game rather than a top-down perspective one, which drastically changed players' movements and combat. This Link is noticeably taller, with a green sword and quite prominent ears. And quite two-dimensional. And at number 9 is Young Link. Oh, babyface Link. So, Young Link appears in Super Smash Bros. Melee and the Hyrule Warriors series. And he's the embodiment of the child stage of Link's life from his adventures in Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. He's obviously weaker than the adult Link, but tends to be more agile. Too cute. Up next, number 8 is the Legend of Zelda TV series. Coming at us from 1989, this version of Link was featured on the short-lived animated show that aired on syndication. Mainly based on the first Legend of Zelda game, Link's look is a very 80s feel directly inspired by it, with the dark brown hair and the brown sleeves and tights. While there's plenty of references to the game, it did act a wee bit more like a standalone show. I think my favorite part of the show, though, is how they approached how the characters carried items in their inventory. Both Link and Zelda's items magically shrink when they're placed into their pockets or pouches. It's pretty great. And number 7 is the Fierce Deity Link. Jumping into a bit of Majora's Mask here, Fierce Deity is one of the transformations Link can turn into in the game, when wearing the Fierce Deity mask. The hero of Hyrule transforms into a wickedly powerful warrior that looks a lot like a Hylian with markings on his face, and you can only get this form during boss battles. Also, on that note, there's a ton of really awesome alternates from Majora's Mask that spawn from different masks that you can wear in the game, but we didn't want to flood this list with them, so let us know in those comments below if you'd like a part 2 so we can feature more of them next time around. And at number 6 is the 8-bit Link. At this number, we have the OG Link who appeared in the first Legend of Zelda game that was released in 1986. This was the Link that set the foundation for all future incarnations of the character, from combat to aesthetic. The green and brown tunic, despite the brown being dropped in later years, and used for the younger versions of Link, and his elf-like pointy ears. The model of the character has green eyelids too, an aesthetic choice that was dropped immediately with the sequel, The Adventure of Link, and has likely remained a thing of the past. And at number 5 is Ocarina of Time for the N64. While the promotional artwork for this game may be my personal favorite incarnation of Link, the in-game model of the character was one of the earlier 3D model versions. Now that the game was being played on the N64, and were becoming less popular with the improved hardware. Link was now blonde. Link had blue eyes. The brown sleeves were now white. And he also had mitts. Plus, this game also introduced us to the Hylian shield. And at our number 4 spot is Breath of the Wild Link. Blue tunic time. What would this list be without the mention of the most recent incarnation of Link from the masterpiece of a game, Breath of the Wild? Aside from looking the best graphically speaking, we get to see Link don a few different outfits throughout the game in order to deal with things like climate, so he doesn't freeze to death. That sort of thing. This open-world game has left some fans arguing that its aesthetics have influences from Wind Waker, utilizing bright colors, yet maintaining realistic proportions, and having a mild, subtle, cartoony feel overall. And at number 3 is Twilight Princess, aka Wolf Link. Twilight Princess was the last GameCube Legend of Zelda game, and the first one for the Wii, and takes place a century before Four Swords Adventures, and several centuries after Ocarina of Time. This more realistic-looking Link must prevent Hyrule from being engulfed by the Twilight Realm, a parallel dimension, and he can take the form of a wolf, but only when entering the Twilight Realm. But eventually, he's able to switch between his wolf form and his Hylian form. Wolf Link is super fast, can dig holes to create new passages, can uncover buried items, and has the ability to follow set trails due to his improved senses. And our number 2 spot is Toon Link. Many criticize the aesthetic of this Link right off the bat until they actually played the games. So, Toon Link is the Link we get from what is referred to as the adult timeline, with Wind Waker being the first to appear in this timeline, and Toon Link being the 5th incarnation of Link in the entire series. And as the name states, he is pretty darn cartoony, with big old dark eyes and a very expressive childlike face. He's typically more agile and faster than the regular Link too, most notably in Super Smash Bros. And finally, in our number 1 spot is Dark Link. Probably the most famous alternate version of Link, and one of the more mysterious, sinister enemies in the series, Dark Link is typically seen as the ultimate challenge for our hero, since he's facing himself and his own strength turned against him. Dark Link has no backstory, and no dialogue, yet appears in 6 main narrative Legend of Zelda games, and Pro games, and Hyrule Warriors, and even the Ocarina of Time manga. First appearing in The Adventure of Link as the final boss, it's implied that he's constructed out of shadow magic. There we have it, friends. What's your favorite version of Link? Which Zelda game is your favorite? And which incarnation of Link do you like the best? Let us know in those comments below. And hey, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you dug this video. But for now, I've been Kelly Pally, and this has been Top 10 Gaming. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I have good news. You've been enjoying the Sonic videos, and we've been listening. So look forward to some more Sonic lists in the next few weeks. Also, big ol' shout out to Joseph Renna for dishing out some great ideas in the comments of Part 3. Always amazing when people make my job easier. Keep the video suggestions coming, guys. It's time for the top 10 alternate versions of Sonic, Part 4. Number 10, Shattuck. Or should I say Gogeta, because this is straight up Sonic Gogeta. Shattuck the Hedgehog was seen in the Not-So movies, Not-So Unleashed, and The Return of Not-So. Sonic and Shadow are beaten by Perfect Not-So. Then they turn Super Saiyan, they turn Hyper, and they fuse together to become Gogeta. Shattuck. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same as Fusion in Dragon Ball, but that doesn't mean it isn't amazing, because it's pretty sick. Number 9, Dark Super Sonic. Now, this is a pretty awesome Sonic transformation from the TV show Sonic X. Sonic confronts Narcissus, who seems to have abused Chris and Cosmo. But when Sonic realizes that Chris was unconscious, his color becomes darker and starts getting an aura around him, and he gets angry. And kicks some butt.
Oh my god, so funny.
Hyrule Sonic. Here I thought I'd take this moment to dispel a rumor while showcasing a version of Sonic. After an image was released that seemed to point to Sonic becoming a playable character in the new Zelda game, people got pretty psyched. Playing as Sonic in Zelda is the stuff dreams were made of. Sadly, however, it seems this was just a rumor. The image of Sonic is just from the Sonic Lost World DLC, which is where the true Hyrule Sonic is from. So to the people who are waiting for Sonic to come to Zelda, I'm sorry, but he's not coming. Number 7, Sunky.mpeg. Hey, remember Sonic.exe from Part 2? Well, this is basically Sonic.exe light version. It's another weird side-scroller with bad graphics, although to be fair, they are better than the Sonic.exe graphics, but in Sunky, many of the freakier elements of Sonic.exe aren't there. And most importantly, this version of Sonic is a heck of a lot less creepy than the other kind. He trades in those freaky black eyes for some hilarious-looking beady black eyes, but the music is pretty rocking. There's even a sequel, Silly.tiff, which is a takeoff of Sally.exe. Shocker. Number 6, Ice Cream Sonic. Oh man, I don't know if you guys had these where you're from, but just looking at this makes me so nostalgic. When I heard the Ice Cream Man approaching, I knew it was Sonic time, or Darth Vader time, but usually Sonic. But I gotta say, I forgot how stupid these things look. Anyway, as you can see, this version of Sonic looks pretty damn terrifying, and doesn't go on too many adventures, but my goodness, is he ever delicious. Number 5, Shard Sonic. Metal Sonic was introduced into the Sonic comics in Sonic Universe number 41. After initially being built by Robotnik to do his bidding, he was later rebuilt by Sir Charles Hedgehog to help out the Freedom Fighters, changing his name to Shard. He looks really cool, a great mixture of good and evil, plus I really love a redemption story, and Shard certainly doesn't disappoint there. Number 4, Neo Metal Sonic. Speaking of Metal Sonic, he came back in the villain spotlight in Sonic Heroes from 2003 with a new look, and it's a pretty wicked look. He can even transform to get more powerful by changing into his Metal Madness or Metal Overlord forms, both of which look really cool too. But personally, I really dig the Neo Metal look. Let me know what you think in the comments. Number 3, The Murder of Me Sonic. This is the Sonic in the fan-made comic The Murder of Me. It's actually a really neat comic based in the distant past, where the ancestors of Sonic and friends were created by one of the 3 gods to destroy the corrupted god and defeat sin. Yeah, it's pretty heavy for Sonic, but the comic itself is actually quite lighthearted. Sonic also looks super different in this one. He's way more humanoid, with more human-like proportions and regular street clothes. Check it out if it looks good. Number 2, Mecha Sonic from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. We've talked about other Mecha Sonics in past videos, but this one from Sonic 3 and Knuckles is pretty great. Ironically, the version from one of the earliest games is one of the coolest looking. Obviously, it isn't super detailed and leaves some to the imagination, but what is there is pretty badass. My only complaint is the supermodel legs, but Sonic's legs are always pretty ridiculous, so I'll allow it. Number 1, Sonic for Hire. I've gone over some pretty ridiculous Sonics in these videos, and they're often funny just because they look stupid or do stupid things or are all around just strange. But Sonic for Hire is a YouTube comedy series where Sonic has to go around finding new jobs to pay the rent. And it's legitimately funny. Like, they wrote funny lines and stuff, which is so refreshing. And Sonic is really dry and sarcastic, which makes it even better. You know, give it a watch if you're interested. Just know that there are some swear words. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please smack that thumbs up button and subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more videos. Don't want to miss another video? Click the bell icon to join the notification squad so you know every time we upload a video. Let me know your favorite version of Sonic in the comments down below. I may have still missed some. Until next time, I'm Rob McKenzie, the first you with Top 10 Gaming. Later, gamers.